Okay, so this is a must. I mean, a must. If it is you are selling a service or a virtual product on your e-commerce platform. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I set up the e-commerce automation using the MailerLite integration within my WooCommerce store on my WordPress website, right? So like I was saying in the beginning, you need to have some sort of way of communicating with your customer right after they purchase something that is not tangible right out of the gate. Okay, so right after they buy something that is a virtual or that is a service that needs time for you to deliver it, and you need to have information being shared back and forth between you and your client or customer, you need that avenue to be something like email. Now, in a previous video, which I will link up here, I showed you how I integrated MailerLite into WooCommerce, and that is for this very same reason, to set up email sequences that will happen automatically when they purchase a particular product on your website. So for me, I would have showed you how I added in this video my service product, which is one-page website design, and in order for me to properly deliver that service, I need to have certain things done by the client, and I also need that information to be relayed back to me in order for me to properly and effectively design their website. Okay, so before it is you set up this automation, in order for it to work, you should have a WordPress website with WooCommerce installed and set up, right? I have a video on how to set up WooCommerce as well, and you need to have the MailerLite plugin integrated with WooCommerce. That needs to be set up, and it needs to be active on both your website and within MailerLite, right? So once you have all of that done, then you could move on to this step. Cool. So you're going to do this all within MailerLite because everything else would be set up and connected. So you're going to log into your MailerLite account, and then you're going to click on the automation tab, which is in the top row, and you're going to click create workflow, which would be in the top right hand corner, and this will bring you to a page where you will see more of a visual representation of the workflow on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side you will see where it is you could input information and do different selections and customizations for the workflow, right? So on the right hand side, once you enter this screen, they will prompt you there to name your workflow, and because this is an e-commerce automation, you're going to select e-commerce automation. So you could set up an email automation, but that would be based on somebody opting in, whereas the e-commerce automation is based on when somebody interact with something in your store, like doing a purchase or at least reaching a certain way within the process of purchasing something off of your website. So you're going to choose the workflow trigger, and what this just means is, what does the person, your customer or your client, have to do on your WooCommerce store for this automation to be triggered, right, for it to start. So I want to set it up where somebody has completed the purchase of a one-page website design package from me. Whoever buys that, I want this automation be sent out to them, these automated emails, because that's basically what these automations would be. It would be a series of emails, and you could get a bit fancier with it, but basically that's the main crux of it, right? So I am selecting when they purchase a specific product, right? Because I have different packages and the emails will be slightly different depending on the package that they purchase from me. Then here you could select the product from your online store because it's all connected. And in my case, it is WooCommerce, like I would have mentioned before. However, there are other types of e-commerce platforms that MailerLite integrate with. So bear that in mind. It doesn't have to just be WooCommerce, right? So you're going to click insert and then save. Now on the left hand side of the screen where you see the visual representation of the workflow, here is where you're going to click the plus button for you to add a step to the workflow. So the first step for me is an email. No delay or anything. As soon as this person buys this product, I want the email to go out to them immediately, right? So that is why that is the first step. As you can see, there are other things that you could choose. You can have a delay, you could have a condition or an action, but I am selecting email as the first step in this workflow, in this automation, right? So now going back to the right hand side of the screen, you will see here you could name the email. You can create the subject line of the email. You can edit the sender details. So this is the name that you wanted to see who it's coming from, and of course the email address, which should be your professional email address with your website domain name. And I would suggest you always have the tracking on, whatever tracking that they have, because you want to see the analytics and everything, right? As much data as possible that you could have, the better. And then you're going to go into designing the email. Now, when you first start out, if you haven't created any campaigns or anything as yet, and this is the first thing that you're creating within MailerLite, you will not have any templates or any recent emails to pull from. So for me, when I did this the first time around, I had to create everything from scratch, because on the free plan, which is what I am on, it does not give you the ability to use the templates from within their gallery. So I will link the video up above showing you how I created my email template so that you could kind of get an idea of how to do that, because I don't really want to put that within this same video, right? So after you design your email, and if it's the first time you're designing your email, I would suggest that you could just save that as a template, because that's what I ended up doing, and then work so that the next time that you're doing another automation or a campaign, you have something as a basis to work from, and you could just kind of edit it to suit. So after you design that email, then you can go back and add more things to the workflow or to the automation sequence as you see fit. For me, I needed to send them one more email, but I didn't want to bombard them. So here's where I added a delay between the first and the second email that I would be sending. And adding a delay is quite simple. Once you add the plus button and you select delay on the right hand side, it will then give you the option of how long to wait, and this could be a plethora of options, from minutes, days, weeks, months, to even specific days and specific times, right? So it's up to you. I set my delay for about 3 days, and then I sent out my second email. And the last thing that I did, well, after the fact, when I realized this is something that I would be interested in doing, I added the last step to the workflow as an action, and I chose the action from a drop down menu to copy to the group, and the group that I chose is my regular email list, which would just have all of my email subscribers getting whenever I start to do like weekly or fortnightly newsletters. That is the group that I would copy my clients or customers onto, right? So it's really very straightforward and basic, but it is so very important, especially based on the type of service or virtual product that you may be selling on your WooCommerce store. Correspondence after that is very, very imperative, right? If you want to see how I designed the email, you can click on this video. If you need to know how to integrate MailerLite into WooCommerce so that you could even set up these automations in the first place, check out this video, and I'll see you over there.